infatuated with Kyle Pitts ahead of the draft. And now it sounds like the Florida tight end is embracing the attention. In an interview earlier this week, Pitts said it's an honor for him to say that. Dallas is a great team. If I could have the opportunity to play for the Cowboys, it would be a great thing. Dallas has the 10th selection in the draft 15 days from now. And while Pitts isn't expected to still be on the board then, didn't stop Jerry and the Cowboys from reaching out and having a conversation with the prospect. So, Shannon, what do you read into this?
Well, I think these guys coming out, everybody says, I would love to play for the Cowboys. I'd love to play for the Falcons. I'd love to play for the Bengals. Hell, Skip, nobody's even held out from the Bengals. And the Bengals had the #1 overall pick, and everybody still go there. Dan Wilkinson, John Carter, Joe Burrow. Only a handful of players have said, you know what, I'm not going there. Bo Jackson did that to Tampa. John Elway did that to the Colts. And Eli Manning did that to the Giants. But I can't think of any, maybe you can, where a player says, you know what, I refuse to go to there. So for the most part, when you're coming out, Skip, you just want to get drafted. You want to go somewhere. But I think Kyle Pitts wants to be the highest drafted tight end in the modern era. That distinction right now belongs to Mike Ditka, who went with the 5th pick, if I'm not mistaken, the 5th pick to the Chicago Bears. He'd like to be no worse than 5th. There have been a couple of guys that's gone 6th. I think Vernon Davis went 6th to the 49ers. I think Winslow Jr. Went 6th to the Cleveland Browns.
So Kuiper now has him going 4.
4, right,
yeah.
Right. And so I think that's what he wants. Skip, for me, I get it. You saw what they did last year with CeeDee Lamb. Skip, you need defense. How much offense? And I get it, Jerry wants to be box office. Jerry loves when he had the triplets. Because, Skip, if you really think about it, that's what people really talked about. They talked about Emmett, because Emmett was winning MVPs, and Troy and Michael Irvin. But that defense was loaded. The years they won, they never had a defense outside of the top 5 in scoring defense. That's how you win championships. Brady could have threw for whatever he wanted to, but what was it? When the rubber needed to meet the road, what was Tampa's defense doing? They were shutting people down. Aaron Rodgers had opportunity after opportunity in the red zone. They said, you'll get nothing and you'll like it. Patrick Mahomes, they shut it down. Drew Brees, they shut it down. Jerry, I get that the guy is skilled. I believe he's better at his position than any other player that's coming out in the draft are at their position. I truly believe that, Skip. But that's not what they need. It's almost like, Skip, I need a house. I ain't got no shelter, but I'm going to go get a car. So you going to sleep in the car? Man, go get you a house. Jerry, it just makes no sense. Jerry always is constantly doing this because I believe Jerry would rather have the circus, fun, everybody coming to see. But, Jerry, you lose it. Did you see what happened? Your team gave up 300 yards rushing. They gave up 294. They gave up 250. It was embarrassing. But you got CeeDee Lamb. You got 3 receivers that might get you 1,000. You got Zeke. Jerry, you better go get your defensive player. Now, I don't know if you're going to trade out of that spot, but if it was me, I'm going to get Pat Surtain. I'm going to get a defensive guy. I'm going to get Micah Parsons. I'm going to get somebody that's going to help that side of the football because I believe that is a greater need than having more entertainment on the offensive side of the football.
Okay. I will speak on Kyle Pitts in just a moment. But first, I need to speak on my man, Jerry Jones. Gerald Wayne Jones Jr. Spent thousands of hours around him as I wrote my 3 books on the Cowboys. I know him pretty well. I would go so far as to say I know him very well.
Yep.
When I read this story from Kyle Pitts yesterday, honestly, I hung my head because he's still at it. He's not just the GM in name only. He is the owner and the operator of the Dallas Cowboys to this day.
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
My team has not made it back to an NFC championship game since the 1995 season.
Yeah.
Think about that. Try to get that in your head because I can't get it to go in the back of my brain, in my psyche. It rejects the notion America's team hasn't been in an NFC championship game since the 95 season.
Right.
In large part because of this man and his involvement in this operation.
Yes.
So here we go with another draft. And he has fallen in love with another player who deserves the love.
Right.
But they're not in position to acquire him, obviously. They would have to trade up and give quarterback ransom
Yes.
to go get Kyle Pitts,
Right.
who, as I just pointed out, Mel Kiper is now going 4th overall
Right.
to the Dolphins on a trade up.
Right.
Well, okay, so I told you 2 months ago that Kyle Pitts will be the best player at his position in the draft. And I told you 2 months ago, because there was no buzz about him, that if he somehow falls to 10, which seemed not impossible at that point, because some defensive players will start to go in the late 10s. If you got 5 quarterbacks and maybe an offensive lineman or 2 go, but certainly 1 goes, and then some defensive players go, well, then you got a shot at Kyle Pitts at 10. And I told you then, and you laughed at me, if he falls in your lap at 10, I'm just taking him because he's just too good not to take. And I love Patrick Stan. I pretty much inked him in at number 10 right now. But if Kyle Pitts falls, well, he's not going to fall because all of a sudden he's the hottest name in the draft. But what discourages me to the point of depression is that Jerry is still so actively involved in the drafting. Again, Will McClay has done a great job. And again, to Jerry's credit, in his defense, you know the stat going into last season, over the previous decade, they had drafted the 2nd most Pro Bowlers in all of football to the Kansas City Chiefs. So something's been going pretty right in the draft for Jerry and Will. I think it goes in that order because Jerry's got final say.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and he used to tell me for the books I wrote that during the early drafts with Jimmy Johnson, he would let Jimmy run it, but he would, as he always told me, coach the coach. That's what Al Davis taught him. You have to coach the coach. So Jerry still retained veto power. So he would either encourage or discourage Jimmy as players sort of fell in the draft, like Emmitt Smith started falling in the draft toward their spot. So they traded from, 21 up to 17 to catch the falling star, who was Emmitt Smith. Well, that was a pretty great move, wasn't it? To get the all-time leading rusher. Okay. Well, Jerry takes some credit for that because he's like, go. Yeah, do it. Do whatever it takes. And Jimmy had his early draft chart. He was ahead of the curve on that, where he knew exactly what was a good deal to trade up, what it was required.
And plus the fact, Skip, Jimmy was coming from college. Jimmy had recruited the Emmitt Smith. He had recruited the Russell Marylands and all these guys. So
he played against him, he coached against him.
So he knows that, okay, that guy's an NFL player.
Jimmy was obviously at Miami, Emmitt at Florida.
Florida, correct. Yeah.
All right. So now, this is to the point of this elbow rubbing side of Jerry. He likes to buddy up to the stars, and so he's now infatuated with Kyle Pitts, which I get, but it's almost like he's a super fan. Got to meet him. Got to talk to him. I don't know if he went to Dallas. I don't know. But did they have to do it virtual?
I think it's virtual.
Did they Zoom it?
Skip,
knowing Jerry, he would send the jet for him.
You know what's going to happen. Jerry's going to be like, they're not going to draft him. He's going to be gone. And Jerry's going to tell you he thought about drafting, just like he told you about Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He did.
I really wanted him.
He did.
He wanted Paxton Lynch.
He did.
And he wanted Johnny Manziel, but it was reported. It was reported that Steve said, "Nah, Daddy." Nah, Daddy.
I believe that story to be true.
I believe it to be true,
and
too.
Guess who they took?
They took Zach Martin,
and
who go to the Hall of Fame.
He's going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. I'm pretty sure. So, way to go.
So
way to
go, Steven.
So maybe Steven coaches the GM. You know, maybe he has the veto power a little bit where he can talk his dad off the ledge.
Well, Steven forgot to take Jerry's cell phone. Jerry got 2 cell phones. Steven thought he had taken one, and Jerry got the other one that called Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Oh, but even we're still in the backside of the pandemic. I'm not going to be surprised if we hear that he flew Kyle Pitts to Dallas.
I mean,
is it against the rules, or I don't know. I don't know if Jerry has any rules. And in Texas right now,
there ain't no rules
I don't
in
think
Texas.
there are no rules.
There ain't no rules in Texas. There's a couple of states there are no rules.
So I would not be surprised if Jerry had Kyle Pitts over to the mansion for supper, as he calls it.
Well, Skip, there are rules that people just don't adhere to the rules. Because Georgia has been open since April of last year. Florida has been open since April of last year. So has Texas. There are a few states. Everybody's not like California, Skip. When they say they shut it down for real.
Okay, I got it. So it tore me up yesterday when we heard that Mel Kiper's latest mock had, and again, this is just Mel's educated guess, obviously, New England trading with Dallas to go up to 10, Dallas back to 15.
But you didn't like that.
I didn't like it because Patrick Surtain is just a stud to me
Right.
because his father was a stud.
Right.
And the lineage there. What I'm eye testing. I watched a lot of Alabama games. He just shuts
smooth.
it down.
Yeah, he's smooth. He's fluid.
is.
His transition,
Hey.
the way he can press, open up, change direction. Yeah, he's good.
He's
good
got it
tackle.
all.
Yeah.
And he plays the run hard.
Yeah.
And you just watch his body language. It's like he's got this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to see Skip because he's in position. I wish he could he needs to judge the ball a little better. His dad was a great judge of the ball. His dad if his ball touched his dad's hand, his dad was coming down with it. But if you watch
I saw
him,
this
Skip,
kid, he can jump now.
Oh yeah. But if you watch him, Skip, the way his technique, he's fundamentally sound. He can transition. He can open up. He can press. He can play off. I mean, he's more, Coach Saban like to press his corners and try to get after the quarterback. But I love the kid too.
But what killed me about Mel's scenario was that that left Patrick Surtain for the Eagles at 12. That would just kill me.
Yeah.
If Patrick Surtain came back to haunt me for the next 12 years.
Because now, Skip, you pair him with Darius Slay. So you got Slay on one side, you got Surtain on the other.
No. Take Patrick Surtain. Who needs the one next year? This is the year.
Hey,